There's lots of great stories out there about love, but what makes yours so unique and so perfect for Second Act is that it's a 30-year faith filled journey, and you found the love of your life, your husband, Mark, at 50.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for joining us today on Second Act TV. I am so happy to welcome a new guest to Second Act today, award-winning author and speaker, Geraldine Brown. Okay, let me get this. Giomblanco. Did I get that right?
Good job. I'm so happy to be here. I'm glad that we have matching colors. It's a
Yes, we're on the
fun
same
thing.
team. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, you are an award-winning author. In fact, with your breakout, well, I'm going to call it a novel. It's a memoir, but it's written novel style. Geraldina and the Compass Rose. One woman's faith-filled journey to find love. What is more perfect for Second Act TV?
Actually, Silka, you know what? That subtitle, we were gonna add at 50
Mhm.
because I met my husband at 50, but we decided we wanted it a little bit more universal and we didn't want to judge on the number. So we took that out last minute. So
Wait,
I
well, thank you. And that's really there's lots of great stories out there about love, but what makes yours so unique and so perfect for Second Act is that it's a 30-year faith filled journey, and you found the love of your life, your husband, Mark, who just left the room here. We'll introduce him at some point,
okay.
at 50. So what I would like to do for this segment is, let's talk about your book. Let's talk about, the highlights of your story, and then the takeaway for our listeners. So many are either on that journey or whether it's never been married, whether it's divorced, whatever. What they have in common is the loss of hope, many, and that's what I'd like to address. So I'll throw it over to you, Geraldine. Tell me about your story and what you're now passing on to others.
I think you hit it on the head. I did an intro after I finished the manuscript, and my editor and I, we thought we kind of have to give them a little bit in the front end to know what they're in for and why I wrote the book. So we did like a two-page intro, and I think it kind of sums it up. It sums it up that I was looking for the real love, and I always felt, even as a little girl, that it was possible. And I think generationally, I was born in the 60s, you're supposed to get married and have children. It was just like an assumption. And mine didn't kind of play out the way I thought it was supposed to. So at 20, it didn't happen. At 30, it didn't happen. And then at 40, I'm saying, holy, you know what? Maybe this is not going to happen. So when it did happen and something very miraculous happened around it, I felt like it was a story that needed to be shared because hope is the thread through it. And, I think your audience, yeah, the one thing is that I'm a real person and I'm an ordinary person in the sense that, I had a job, I was independent, I have a family. I mean, I still had all the things, but the one thing that was missing was that love connection. And I really didn't want to settle for anything but the real deal.
Yeah, and I want to just say one thing in that, this obviously the story is about finding love. What your book also really, to me, what it brought forth very clearly, it's okay if you remain single. It's finding joy. And I think that's, I don't want to take away from your message, but I do want to clarify that because there's lots of people that may think, well, I don't want to find, that's not me.
Mhm.
There's more message here than meets the eye initially.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Can I zoom in on like just the cover to show them?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
sure.
so in the process, when you have to hire somebody that does your book cover and all the artwork and all the formatting and everything. But if you look at the girl in the picture, everybody says, "Is that you, Geraldine? Is that you?" And I said, "Well, it's me and a million other people."
Hmm.
So it's a person looking out into the water, hopeful. I think you kind of get a sense that there's something there. What it was so cool was the day I got my first printout of the finished product. I looked at the cover of the copyright, the inside cover,
Hmm.
and it was surreal for me. Here I am, first time author, and I have a copyright book. And underneath it, when it said title for the book, then it had the picture. It said the name of the picture actually is a licensed picture, and it's called Searching for Peace. And that is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because at 49 years old, and I'm a prayerful girl, I love to pray my grandmother, you'll get all that in the story. But, I said at 49, well, maybe it's not going to happen. But what I really wanted was the peace in my heart, to have purpose, to have peace, to know that working 24/7 with a gun to your head every day was maybe not exactly the way I wanted to live the rest, the other half, right? The second act. So that really is a big part of what the book is about, searching for that peace. And I thought initially it was going to be in a marriage early in my life, but little did I know.
Yeah. Well, I loved it. Like I said, I read this cover to cover. When I picked it up, you made me cry lots of times. There's just so much I can identify with. You detail, your path, and you had opportunities and almost did get married. I did that, and I got married. I didn't follow my intuition. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so well, that's a big part of it. That's a huge part of it. So I relate intuition to that divine connection. It's telling you something. We all have intellect. We all have a will. We have a soul too. But there's this thing that nudges us, right, on a daily, minute by minute for some, and we choose to either pay attention to it or ignore it. And what I love about the book, and something mystical that happens, is this man in the airport. I open up, that is my first chapter. And the first chapter is, it's just talking about how I have this strange, meeting. It was like this serendipitous thing, but inside of me, I knew I was going to talk to the stranger in an airport. And I don't want to give away the details, and I can speak about this all day long because I get so excited about it. The man had messages for me. And at first, I thought he was trying to hypnotize me, because we did end up sitting down and talking one on one for about 6 hours.
Wow.
And I think that's what sets up the book, that intuition to, one, trust that the stranger was an important somebody. Couldn't explain it, but I did journal or write in my diary when I got back exactly what the man had said to me. And believe it or not, that message was the message. Well, there was three that resonated all the way and kept me going through my singlehood, until I met my husband. And should I share with your viewers what they were? It's not
Yeah,
really.
yeah, no, please do.
Okay, cool. So the message is that this gentleman, his name was Joe George from Atlanta, Georgia, which I thought was bizarre to begin with. And he told me that I had a lot of angels around me, and that I had this incredible ability to love deeply, but never lose that little girl in you. And, I think that's one lesson, is that, we tend to get tainted with life and experiences, and we forget that kind of innocence, and we really have it. It's still there. I think I think people will say, "Oh, I'm never going to get married again," or, "I'm done with men," or, "I'm done with that, being brokenhearted," or whatever. And I thought, no, because I know that I was capable of love. So that message was huge for me. And I love wearing ponytails and riding my bike like a little kid. So that's nothing new. The second message that was really important was that I was going to receive this gift, he said, but that the gift was more, to me, I interpreted it not as a material gift. I felt that he explained that his mom had this incredible ability to receive gifts with joy and with grace. And I thought, what is this man trying to tell me? And he's looking deeply into my eyes. This is why we're making a movie, by the way, because the scene is so awesome. Then the third and most important thing, which is the whole title of my book, my grandmother, her name was Rosaria. And he said that she has a message for me and not to worry, which was the greatest bit of advice, because I would have hung on to that. But he said, don't worry, because you're going to know. So I had to trust. And I think that was the lesson, to trust in knowing that, some people call it the universe, some people call it all different types of things. For me, I was brought up Catholic. It's the Catholic faith. I believe in God. That's what it was for me. So I'm going to pray to God saying, please show me where I need to go and let me know if I'm on the right track. And that goes back to that divine thing. I know I do yoga and meditation, and you connect. and pay attention to that part because that is a big part of my story. And I use it in my work.
Yeah.
So this is not just something you do for romance or stuff. I use it all the time. That intuition, it shows up in the strangest places, and I stop and I pay attention. So
Yeah.
sorry, ran on that one.
No, no, no. I think it's incredibly important because in many ways you encompass in this book. And yes, I didn't mention in the beginning it's going to be made into a movie, so we'll definitely stay tuned for that. And I can see the scenes as well, again from various stories in the book. But the messages that so many people struggle with. One is just keeping hope alive, and that they deserve love, and that inner voice, listening to your inner voice and believing that there may just be guidance from, other than on this earth. And that, I think, is what's kept you going and gotten you to where
Definitely.
to where you are. And it's so hard for many people to believe in that.
That is why I'm making a movie, because I am living proof, folks. I am telling you, something miraculous happened, and it's changed my whole outlook. I mean, the reason why I'm so happy to be here on your show, because the message needs to be shared that it is possible. And you know what? It's not that easy. It's not like a magic genie, even though I wish I had the three wishes and I could rub them and, boom, 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 the right person's going to show up. I had to look within, I had to make some changes. I had to make room for things to show up. So it's not a quick fix, folks. And sorrow is a part of life, and suffering is a part of life. So these are the lessons that we learn, and I share the joys of simple things in life. I taught kids, the joy I had being with my family. So if I wasn't getting love from a significant other, I was finding other places for it. So, I mean, and I'll show you my bookmark. In my epigraph, it's I believe in love. And that's really a big part of, I think, more of the universal message that the movie folks like. They want to put that out there because people are looking for love. They want it, but it doesn't have to just come in a relationship with maybe a spouse. It comes in all different ways. So
It does. It absolutely does. No, it's there's so many messages, so many, gosh, great lessons. And to me, I keep coming back to, and I've done this with other segments, is no matter how hard things are, no matter how impossible they seem, if you just keep just one little tiny window open, even, or start there, that it could be possible, then you haven't given up. We're starting to come to the end of this segment, and I want to hold you over for a couple more. But what message would you like to leave for our viewers here?
a quick 10-second funny chapter, Meeting with Destiny. So I was, asked somebody asked me to marry him. And deep down, I was like, oh boy. I mean, it was the prettiest ring. I would drive and I'd look at it and I'd be like, oh, how am I going to give it back? I called it entrapment. The good guy, he was a good guy. I'm not bashing the guy at all, but it wasn't the right fit for me. And he kind of knew it. And so I think a lot of people kind of feel the pressure of society and the culture of whatever culture. And that could really be a whole huge segment of the different cultures and the pressures that we feel based on how we were brought up and the experiences we've had every day. But you have to stay true to you. Mm-hmm. And so I think going back to that intuitive nudge, where you have to fix some things about yourself maybe before you're looking for the perfect whatever on the outside. So if you have your list of what it is that you really want, make sure that you're on the good side of your own personal list. You know what I mean? Your self-assessment. And then make room. That's how it happened with my husband and I. He did his work, I did my work, we made the space, and then the divine providence of life, just brought us together. So
I love it. I love it. And yes, are you who you're wanting to attract? That is, that's another title of a video, a whole other segment. We actually did that. Such important messages. So again, the book is Geraldina and the Compass Rose, One Woman's Faith-Filled Journey to Find Love. All true. Some of it you may or may not believe, but it's true. And I want to hold you over, Geraldine, because it wasn't all easy. There was lots of heartbreak, and that's what we're going to talk about in our next segment is what's holding you back, or is a secret sorrow holding you back from finding true love. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on our next segment on Second Act TV.
Thank you, Silka. I had a great time. This was fun.
Please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. And if there's a topic that you'd like to have us cover, please visit our website, secondact.tv. There's a little red suggestion box in the upper right-hand corner of our site. Just click on that, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.